All right, welcome back. Today we are with our student who's just about to finish, Stephen Dines, and he's going to tell us about his experience and about all of his learning that he's made with the mentoring so far. So let's dive right in. Stephen, just tell us a little bit about your musical background, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, musical background. I mean, I've been messing around with music since about 16 years old. Fell in love with the records of the late 60s, 70s, early 80s. Was really drawn to how they got the sound in the records. That's what drew me to that, and I was always searching for that. And so kind of got into picking up guitar, picking up a 4-track recorder, trying to figure out how recordings were done. And then just through the years, always knew that I wanted to have my own studio so that I could try and do my own music and try to emulate some of the records that, I loved, growing up. So that's kind of what drove me to it. And through the years, been able to kind of save up a little bit of money, build a studio. But what I really needed at this point was, okay, how do I approach this from a very fundamental level and get my songwriting skills, my production skills, my recording skills. I really needed to up my game in that regard, and I fortunately came across you guys. So briefly, that's kind of how I came to this.
Well, that's awesome. So, Stephen, how has your progress been so far with the mentorship? What results have you gotten so far?
Yeah, I think for me, already in week one, just the focus on, first of all, the melody thing. I think, Ari pointed out in some of the videos there that, you have to find your melody, you have to find your hook, you build your structure from there. I think you guys made a good point of, emphasizing that you have to have a good song, you have to have a good arrangement, and you need to put the fundamentals in place. So I think that was a good thing in week one for me, because I needed that structure. I have a lot of unfinished stuff that's little pieces here and there that I really don't know, what's a chorus, what's a verse, what's a hook. And I think week one helped solidify a lot of those things for me. So that was great. And then in week two, I think was the big eye opener. I think you guys called it mixed bus magic, but that for me was after many years of trying to struggle to get mixes sounding really good and with width and depth, I think what you guys revealed in week two was awesome, and that really kind of set me forward. So yeah, those big early parts of the course were really fundamental and eye-opening for me, and changed a lot of things in terms of how I approach the work now. So yeah.
So the first couple of weeks were the most eye-opening for you.
Well, I would say that there was more to follow, but if I'm going to put, the in terms of the impact for me, after many years of struggling to try and get arrangements put together and try to get mixes, sounding at least, very basic. I think you guys got me more in those first 2 weeks that had taken me many years to get. Now there was more to follow, obviously, and it grew from there. But in terms of impact, those first 2 weeks for me, looking at where I was and where those first 2 weeks took me already in my mixes was a big thing. Yeah. And
That's
then into
awesome.
week three, designing sounds was excellent. Something I've never really done before, because I'm an old school guy. I play instruments. And I had never really used samples, tried to take, simple things with iPhone. I mean, I was able in week three to actually, if I look at week three, one of the best sounding things I did was week three, and that was using the samples. So that the thing that you guys taught there on how to use those samples, how to make synthesizers, how to make sounds, put those into arrangement. And so that was really good. Never done that before. I typically don't work with samples, but I could see the value in that as well. So that was great. Week four, vocals, awesome. Something I'm still struggling with now as I continue to improve. But the importance of setting your vocals up correctly, gain staging with your vocals, the right levels coming in, not peaking, getting clean takes. That thing about 40 takes, just take after take after take, the vocal comping, the editing. It was tedious and laborious, but the work put in, you could see the difference in your tracks when you finish it in the end. I mean, you have to spend the time editing and doing things the right way. So I thought week 4 was great in that regard, because I needed a lot of help with vocals. Still working on that, but that was great. Yeah. And then from there, I think week 7 was, replicating a track was really something that I spent, I would say, over the course, the most hours in trying to replicate a favorite track of mine from the past. And I really, if you want to talk about, how does the sausage get made? I think week 7 is boom, everything's leading you up to that. But week 7 really makes you work, because you've really got to, get in there and try and replicate what your reference track is, which helps you on so many levels, from song structure, from organization, from EQing, from overall tone, from all of those things that you kind of covered throughout the following weeks. So yeah, I think looking back over the 8 weeks, those are the main highlights for me, I think, guys.
So how do you feel now going forward, having gone through these experiences?
Yeah, I feel invigorated. I feel now that I have a good set of tools that I can go back and address a large body of work that I have for many years of writing songs, having productions done up into a certain level, many recordings that I've done that are up to a certain level. But I feel now that I can go back and address many of those, poor mixes and arrangements, and this has given me a real foundation to quickly go back and then really quickly address those problems and finish a lot of songs that I couldn't finish before. So I think I didn't finish a lot of things because I would reach a frustration level. I'd gotten it to a point where I can't take it anymore. I can't get it any further. And I think finding you guys is going to help me then say, okay, now I can get this to a point where, yeah, it's good enough. I can do something with it. So I think that's where I'm
So
at.
now you can say that you can produce, mix, and master your own tracks efficiently at a short amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. It's got me to that level. I would say, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I can safely say that your course and everything that you've taught me has got me to that level. I'm still kind of a very critical year on my own yet. So I'm still kind of taking everything that I've learned over the 8 weeks and really, trying to put that to use, and still kind of critical on, that's not quite release ready yet, but that's more of a personal thing for me than the coursework. You
Well,
guys
this
got,
is just the starting. So you'll
Yeah.
figure it out now.
yes,
And you'll be able to figure it
you
out
guys have
yourself.
got me to that point now, and once I get beyond my critical year, I think then I'm good to go. So
Okay,
it's helped me
good.
tremendously in that regard.
So what has been your biggest takeaway in the past 8 weeks, if you had to point out a couple?
I think what you guys talk about a lot is accountability. You have to come into this with some accountability on your own, right? I mean, you guys provide the course, you provide the service, you provide the tools, you're there on the video calls. The rest is up to the participants. I'm a professional. I have a full-time career. This is a hobby for me. It wasn't possible for me to make every call, but I tried to make as many as I could. I tried to ask as many questions as I could. You guys are always there, either on the calls or on the Instagram, day, night, no matter what, you always get an answer from both of you, right? So I commend you guys for that. The discipline that's needed. I think that you guys teach that discipline, you teach that structure. And if anyone's coming into this and they want to be at that point where they're churning out 1 or 2 songs a week, this will get you there. I think this will get you to that point. And I'm more and more, what I want to do with my music on the next level. This is kind of helping me kind of get to my goals, which are not necessarily, releasing a track or 2 every week, but more into my own music, perfecting it, my recordings, building my studio and things like that. So I take a little bit of different things out of the course as well. So, yeah.
It's very good to hear. We're glad you like it, and we did this because, I mean, you paid for it. That was a service. Consistency, you ask us questions every day, and we're there for you.
Yep, no, I appreciate it. You guys are definitely, very communicative, very understanding of, my busy schedule as well. There were times where, I can't make or couldn't make some of the late calls, but, Harry was always there on the earlier ones. And so, I think you guys have got you got it down where, everybody's taken care of. If anybody's looking for answers quickly, it's great. The calls are great. You meet some wonderful people on the calls. You also meet some people that you're listening to their stuff and you go, wow, I want to collaborate with that person because they're doing something that's, unique and different. And so I enjoyed that aspect of it as well. So yeah, those were great aspects of it as well.
Well, there you have it. Stephen came in and he had a very busy schedule, was still able to show up, make the calls. We were able to work with him, get him to that point where he's now confident finishing all this stuff. It's a lot more efficient. And if this inspires you, you can also reach out, or you can click the link in the description and we can discuss if it's a good fit for you as well. So thanks for watching. Until next time.